Hey everyone, just wanted to make a quick video here explaining what's been up with the channel and what's coming for October. So, first of all, the reason why I didn't do any uploads this week is because I was getting ready for and at TGS. So I got a chance to visit TGS for the first time. I was working there as an interpreter, and that was a good time. I did get to see some indie games that were interesting, such as Necro Barista. That was a game that I demoed there for various industry people. And yeah, it's an interesting visual novel in 3D that is coming in 2018 to the PC and Switch, and I think you'll probably have a good time with if you check it out. Very dramatic. Aside from that, I did get a chance to play the Ace Combat 7 demo. It is the so-called 2017 demo, the same demo that was at Gamescom this year. So if you've seen the Gamescom demo, you've seen the TGS demo as well. I was waiting in line 2 hours there to get the chance to play that demo because, hey, we've waited long enough for a new Ace Combat. Absolutely. That's just, come on. It's been delayed and delayed and delayed, and I finally got a chance to play it. And yeah, I was generally impressed. I felt like if the demo was too short, my demo time was too short at least, to really get a good impression of the game. But my main thoughts about it were that the cloud dynamics in that game are very exciting. And just chasing an enemy plane into cloud cover and seeing your radar lock drop off and then proceeding into the clouds and not knowing where exactly the target you're hunting is really exciting and fun. The planes seem to control well. I was using the F-14, but I guess I would just say that maybe there was something a little bit lacking in how tactile it felt using the PS4 controller there, and I don't know, it may be just something I need to get used to. Aside from that, it was very beautiful, and the music and sound design were very much on point. Especially the sound design is really, really solid. So very exciting when you got headphones on, and you just get those awesome sounds of missiles and notification buzzers and the engines of the plane and everything in your ears. It's very, very exciting and fun. And yeah, the music sounds pretty good as well. So generally impressed, but I mean, it was an automatic buy for me from the time it was announced for PC. So I'm not saying like, oh, this sold me on it, but I definitely didn't come away from it feeling like I was kind of a sucker to think that I should buy it. I'm pretty excited about that game still. So okay. Getting stuff I saw at TGS out of the way, let's get to the thing that was announced at TGS, of course. Let's talk about Left Alive. Left Alive, I heard about it and I was like, what's Left Alive? Like, somebody told me about this game that had been announced by Square Enix, and I was like, what's Left Alive? What? And then they said, it's a new Front Mission game. And I was like, what? Are you kidding me? A new Front Mission game in 2017? And you look at the lineup for the game of who's working on it. And, the most exciting thing for most people, I think, is probably that, Yoji Shinkawa is working on the project and doing the character art. But for me personally, the most exciting thing is to see that Shinji Hashimoto is working on this game because, he was the guy who tried desperately to salvage Front Mission evolved at Square Enix as that project spiraled down into the trash can, and was kind of the remaining stalwart of the Front Mission team who was left at Square Enix and who really, really tried his best to make that game decent. So I'm very excited to hear that he is getting a second chance at making like Gun Hazard 2. So yeah, this is very cool news. But the rest of the team also very exciting. We've got Toshifumi Nabeshima, who is like somebody who's been very deep in the Armored Core series his whole career. Like, you look at this guy's career, it pretty much starts with Armored Core 1. He was the director, and then he was on Armored Core games as either a producer or supervisor, like all the way down the line until Armored Core 5 Verdict Day. So a lot of the Front Mission team went to From Software after the situation at Square Enix degenerated and they felt like they had to leave, and worked on on Armored Core 5. And it's really interesting to see that there is some kind of reverse influence coming from Software into Square Enix now. So yeah, having somebody from the Front Mission team and somebody from the Armored Core team working together with, the famous artist from the Metal Gear games, and then on top of that, we've got Takayuki Yanase, who was mech designer on Ghost of the Shell Arise, which is pretty good. It's well, actually, you know what? There is a really good mech scene in that movie. So like, yeah, actually, no, there's a kick-ass mechanized tank scene in that movie. So yeah, no, I'm just turning around my opinion right there. Mobile Suit Gundam 00, which is I don't know. I'm not an enormous Gundam fan, but I thought the mecha designs in that were good enough. The spaceship that they were launching Gundams from in that show was pretty cool. And then we have Xenoblade Chronicles X, which has some pretty awesome mecha designs in it. I think a lot of people didn't really get to see those very much because A, the game was on the Wii U, so no one really played it, and B, you didn't actually get to use the mecha in that game until a ways into it. So maybe a little bit underappreciated, but very cool mecha designs there. In any case, I definitely trust this guy to update the classic Front Mission Vonzer designs a lot more than I trust the Double Helix guys to do it with their kind of abominations that they created for Front Mission Evolved. So I think, with Hashimoto in probably a more solid producer role here and not having to fight so bitterly with management, and having Yoji Shinkawa, who I don't think was responsible for the mecha designs in Metal Gear, but would probably at least respect the artistic direction of the Front Mission series. Having all these people and having somebody from Armored Core, having Nabeshima from Armored Core, Armored Core obviously has a very different design ethos than Front Mission. It's way more flashy and high-powered, but, we saw what happened with Armored Core 5, where it went in a much more Front Mission-like direction. So I think there's a lot of mutual respect of the work of these different people among each other, is the impression I get, and I'm very excited to see what they come up with. So let's just get into some of the details that were published in GameSpot from Famitsu, which I think are mostly wrong, but let's take a look at them here. So there are Vonzer riding scenes and stealth. Okay, if it plays something like, Metal Gear Solid 4 plus the awesome mecha battle scenes in Metal Gear Solid 4, I'm down for that. Again, I feel like this is again like we're looking at basically a Gun Hazard sequel here. So down for that. It does seem like the on foot sections are going to be more extensive. That's going to be pretty interesting. There is a one chapter of the sort of short story section of Front Mission Dog Life Dog Style that has it focuses on infantry combat versus Wanzers, which I would recommend checking out. I'm not sure exactly which issue that is of that series, but it's pretty cool. Look at how tough infantry have it fighting Wanzers. Some of you may also remember the cinematic from Front Mission 5, where you see the infantry fighting Wanzers in, I believe it's in Cambodia, and then Walter and crew ride in as the cavalry and save the day. So again, in that situation, the infantry are in a bad spot. Like, they ambush the enemy Wanzer, and yet they still manage to get put on the back foot just because Wanzers are so deadly. So yeah, really interested to see how the relative power levels of your character versus the enemy Wanzers work out. And I really do hope that, another game you might look at as a reference here is Titanfall 2. Titanfall 2 is mostly on-foot segments, but they definitely work in a fair amount of mecha combat as well. And I hope they go in that direction. Like, I hope we get the opportunity to ride in at least a Zenith and a Frost, like, give us at least 2 Wanzers to get in the cockpit here. And I hope they really do it up in terms of the details of the cockpit and, like, the way it all controls. Obviously, we don't have too much to go on at this point yet, but I really, really, really hope that the Wanzer combat is a significant portion of the game while not being the entire game. Alright, so next thing to talk about is some of the lore stuff that's been announced. So it says the game takes place in Russia in 2027 or 2127. It says it takes place in Russia, but as far as I know, that still should be Zaftra at that point in time. Now, I'm not super familiar with the Front Mission lore after the end of Front Mission 3. The thing that they do report, GameSpot does report, is that the game takes place in between Front Mission 5 and Front Mission Evolved. However, that's obviously wrong, because if you look at the Front Mission timeline, 2127 is after Front Mission 3, not after Front Mission 5. The reason why I think they probably announced it that way is not because they screwed up the timeline, but because people who are not massive Front Mission fans like myself, or people who watch this video series, probably don't understand the chronology of the Front Mission series and probably assume that Front Mission 5 is the chronologically latest game in the series, when in fact it ends just before the beginning of Front Mission 3. So something's going on in Zaftra, I believe, and you're going to be stuck in some city in Zaftra trying to survive. So, Zaftra is obviously a country that has experienced a lot of instability, has had bad international relations. For those of you who are watching the Front Mission 1 Let's Play, of course you remember how they were involved in the PMO and the whole scandal with Cicada Industries around the B device. But also they kind of get dragged into things in Front Mission 4 and are, not the greatest there either. Finally, they don't really make a significant appearance in Front Mission 3, so there's that weird small country called Rav Nui, which is the main sort of Eastern European bad guy that shows up in that game, not so much the Zaftrans. So I expect that relative to, say, the mainline Front Mission games, we are going to see a lot less international intrigue happening here, although we may see some in the manner of what you see in, say, MGS3, where there's operatives from different countries operating on the ground and interacting with each other, but probably not in the way that we see in the mainline Front Mission games, where you have military operations or covert operations undertaken by different super states against each other. So that will definitely be a bit of a departure for the series. However, I don't think we are going to get into the incredible stupidity of Front Mission Evolved with its space trees and roaring Vonzers. So yeah, let's stay away from that and let's stick to what actually makes Front Mission great. While acknowledging that, look, I've seen many people who are angry that this game is not a turn-based strategy game. And personally, I'm just really glad there's any Front Mission game after the utter catastrophe that was Front Mission Evolved, right? Like, I thought this series was done for good because the Front Mission people had left Square Enix, and Front Mission Evolved was a total dud. So, like, why would this series ever come back? And incredibly, it has come back. So I'm happy about that. I'm pumped. I'm hype about this. I don't consider Square Enix to necessarily be the best third-person shooter developer. They've done anything good in this area? Not so much, but they brought in a lot of outside people for this game, so I'm willing to give them a chance. And if this game does well, maybe we'll get a Front Mission 6, or if we could hope beyond hope, get a Front Mission 0, right? Like, that would be incredible if we could actually get Front Mission 0 and fully wrap up the whole timeline of the original mainline Front Mission games. Front Mission 0, of course, was a manga that was released after the release of Front Mission 1, and it described the sort of origin story of Morgan Bernard as the antagonist of the whole Front Mission series, aside from Front Mission 3 for the most part. So, yeah, I mean, that is what Front Mission Evolved might have been to begin with. It was some kind of Front Mission 0 game, and it would be really interesting because I think Bernard, as a character who falls from grace and becomes this international terrorist because of the cruelty and insanity of the super states in the Front Mission world, would be very compelling, and something I would definitely look forward to. So I'm really hoping this game is good. I'm really hoping it relaunches Front Mission as a property. And if all we get after this are action Front Mission games, like, fine, whatever, I'm there. Like, just as long as they keep bringing people who are connected to the original development team, I'm interested. And as long as they keep doing justice to the design ethos of those games. So yeah, let's remember that the Front Mission series basically has its origins in Assault Suits Vulcan, and which was the design precursor to Front Mission Gun Hazard. So action games are part of the Front Mission DNA, even though that's not really what people in the West were exposed to until the catastrophic failure that was Front Mission Evolved. So, yeah, anyway, there wasn't a whole lot to see about that game on the TGS floor. It was mainly Final Fantasy 15 mobile stuff, which is not even remotely interested. But it was a cool announcement, and I'm looking forward to it as much as anyone else is. So let's give this game a chance. Let's see how the subsequent trailers with some more detailed footage look, and let's hope for the best. Okay, so as for the rest of what's going on with this channel, got a little bit diverted there by the biggest announcement of the year in terms of this channel, that's for sure. Going to be working on wrapping up the Front Mission playthrough, of course, and I've also got a tutorial series coming for the explaining how the rules work in the tabletop RPG Blades in the Dark. It's a pretty cool RPG, and one that you may have seen on the Roleplay channel on YouTube or Twitch. It's also one you may have seen on or heard on Austin Walker's Friends at the Table podcast. They did a mini season about Blades in the Dark. So basically, it is a game where you play as a crew of daring scoundrels and engage in sort of crimes and covert operations. And I am going to be I've actually already created 2 videos in the series, but I want to get like 3 done, and then I'm going to start releasing them. And that's going to get into the rules, into the design of Blades in the Dark. This is partially for people who are interested and want to try running the game, even though it's a little bit complicated. It's also partially for me because I am trying to hack Blades in the Dark to be a Brigador-themed tabletop RPG, and I'm pretty excited about that prospect because you all know I love Brigador, and I think the lore in Brigador is pretty cool, and it's perfectly suited for Blades in the Dark. So if you're interested in tabletop RPGs, look forward to that series. If you're just interested in Front Mission stuff, look forward to the completion of the Front Mission series. I'm going to be working on both of those as the month goes on, as October goes on, and should probably be finished the Front Mission series by the end of October, I hope. All right, guys. Well, that's that. Thanks for watching, and yeah, I'm excited. 2018 should be a cool year for stuff I actually care about. 2017 had some good games like Pyre and Nier Automata, but a lot of the games that were really hot this year were not games that interested me or games I could play. So with BattleTech pushed back to 2018, Ace Combat 7 pushed back to 2018, and Left Alive being published in 2018, supposedly 2018 is a much more exciting year for me than 2017 was, and I'm looking forward to it, and I hope you will too. So let me know what you think about Left Alive. Keep it civil, and I'm interested to hear what you have to say. And you'll find me on this channel soon enough.